Hi, this is your host, Andrew Raffel, the founder and CEO of Baintree Wealth Advisors. And I want to welcome you to the Your Wealth and Beyond podcast, a show that was created to help you simplify the financial world and to ensure that you're living your best life now and in retirement. Each show, we're going to be bringing on experts that are going to help you build wealth and, most importantly, find purpose in what matters most.
Hey everybody, it's Andrew Raffel, the president and founder of Baintree Wealth Advisors, and I wanted to take this quick moment to inform you of some of the changes that resulted from the Secure Act. The Secure Act was passed late last year, and it is the biggest changes that we've seen to retirement accounts in the past decade. So a couple of the key points that are going to affect most of you out there. First and foremost, the required minimum distribution age has moved from 70 and a half to 72. So what the required minimum distribution is if you have qualified retirement accounts, that's an IRA, a 401k, a TSP, a 457, when you turn a certain age, which used to be 70 and a half, you had to start taking out a minimum amount based on the IRS life expectancy tables. Even if you didn't want the money, even if you don't want the money, you still have to take it out and pay the taxes on it. Well, 70 and a half, there's two things on that. One, it's kind of confusing. When am I 70 and a half? Somebody born in June versus July? It just became convoluted. But number two, as we are living longer, part of the changes to this bill is to allow your retirement dollars to grow a few more years. So starting this year in 2020, if you had not turned 70 and a half last year, you are not required to take out your minimum distribution until age 72. The life expectancy tables will be utilized by whoever is the custodian of your funds, or just simply call your advisor. If we're your advisor, call us and we'll make sure that you take out the proper amount. So 72 is the new age for required minimum distributions. So that's a good thing. But one of the negatives that we looked at with this passing of the bill, the government likes to giveth and taketh away, is the death of the Stretch IRA to beneficiaries. So let's walk through that, what that means. So if a husband or wife or partner, if you're married, you pass away and leave your IRA to your spouse, the spouse can do with that IRA what they like, meaning it's called a spousal, can transfer to them, and it can continue to go tax deferred and follows all the guidelines as if it was your own IRA. So pretty simple there. With regards to a non-spouse beneficiary, this is a friend, a child, a niece, a nephew, an aunt, an uncle, a brother. Now, the new language within the Secure Act does not provide the ability to defer that IRA for your lifetime. So you used to be able to stretch it out, which means that if you passed away, mom passed away and left you a $500,000 IRA, you could then continue to grow it tax deferred as long as it was held inside of an inherited IRA. And then based on your life expectancy, take out a little bit of each year based on what the government told you. So if you're 50, let's say on $500,000, you would have been able to take out, let's say $10,000 a year, give or take. The remaining $490,000 would continue to grow tax deferred. Pretty powerful there is each year pulling out the minimum and letting the rest grow. You could have stretched that out for your lifetime. Now with the death of the stretch, a non-spouse beneficiary has to take those funds out within a 10-year time frame. So what that means is you don't have to take out anything in any given year, but by the end of the 10th year, it must all be pulled out and you must pay all the taxes. So this is going to bring some planning changes for many of you out there, how to best utilize it for you and to create that legacy. If you have an IRA, it is very important to look at your beneficiaries and decide how this is going to affect and impact them, and then work to making good decisions. Some of our clients are looking at this with the change and they're looking at, does a Roth conversion make sense? Moving it from what we call always taxed to never taxed. That may, in this low tax environment where taxes are in a sense on sale, it may make sense to pay a little bit of tax today to save a lot for you and a lot for the family later. Stretch IRA is gone. That's a big change from the Secure Act, and we'd be more than happy to walk through what it means to you. Thirdly, with the death of the Stretch, many of you had created estate plans that were there to protect the IRA account, to assure that they used it properly and that they stretched it out over their lifetime. Well, now due to the change of the rules, most likely you're going to have to go back to your attorney and review the estate planning documents and most likely make changes to either the beneficiary or the trust itself. So just because you did an estate plan doesn't mean it's set in stone. You have to always review, evaluate, and revise. And in this case, we highly recommend that you get back with your advisory team and your estate planner and your CPA and make sure that you're taking account to these new changes to the law. So that's a very important component there. Another big item is the QCD. So this is only relevant if you're over 70 and a half. And this is what we call the qualified charitable distribution. So it's a very, very beneficial way for somebody to donate to a charity, to a foundation, to a church, to a synagogue, to somewhere that has some meaning. And it can be used as follows. So money taken out of an IRA is normally taxed. You get taxed federally, and then depending on what state you live in, it flows down in your tax at the state level. And remember, if the government's requiring you take money out, you can't hide from that. But what you can do is direct some of those RMD dollars, required minimum distribution. You can direct it to a charity. You can direct it to Phoenix Children's Hospital, to Ronald McDonald House. And that money, as long as it goes directly from the custodian, so let's say your IRA is held at TD Ameritrade, as long as it goes from TD Ameritrade to, for example, Phoenix Children's Hospital, that money that comes out and goes to that charity, or to, in this case, Phoenix Children's, will not be taxed. So it does cover that required minimum distribution amount. Let's do an example. Let's say your RMD in a given year was $20,000. If you directed $5,000 from the IRA by using the QCD to Phoenix Children's Hospital, you would not get taxed on that $5,000. So it would be a full credit to you, but the IRS would look at it as you took out your full $20,000. So in this example, you're only paying taxes on $15,000. And this is even more critical because most of you out there are using the standard deduction because it's doubled based upon the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Meaning, if you do a donation to a charity, to a foundation, to a school, etc., you will not be able to write that off. If you're not itemized, and you can't write off a donation. So this allows you to do that. The QCD, you don't have to wait till 72. That's a unique feature of this. You can actually start taking that money and directing it once you turn. And the key is you have to turn 70 and a half. It cannot be the year. So if you're 70 and a half October 1st, you have to wait to do it until October 1st or later. Also, make sure you let your CPA know that you're going to be doing it, and the 1099 that you get from the custodian will not necessarily reflect how much went to the organization, the charity. So you have to let your CPA know. So very important components. Below this video, we've created a full PDF that breaks down everything with the Secure Act. So a lot more things that came from the Secure Act, some of it affecting your 401k plans, some of it affecting your kids, or if you do have children, being able to take money out of an IRA after the birth of a child with no penalty. It's a lot of different factors. As always, if you have questions, which many of you do, on your plan, on your process, call us, email us. We're here for you to help elevate your overall estate, increase your income, and eliminate as much as on your taxes as possible. And that's what a cohesive plan is. It's not about focusing on one thing. We want to look at all of the pieces of your fiscal house, of your retirement puzzle, and help you put them together so that you have a plan that is not just for today, but is there for the long haul. Thank you so much for listening. We're here for you. Happy planning, everybody.
Thank you for joining me for today's episode of Your Wealth and Beyond. To get access to all the resources mentioned during today's podcast, please visit baintree.com/podcast. And be sure to tune in later this month for another episode of Your Wealth and Beyond.
Investment advice is offered through Baintree Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuity products are offered separately through Baintree Planning Group, LLC. Baintree is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute legal or tax advice. You should talk to a qualified professional before making any decisions about your personal situation.